Circumstance had forced detectives to consider the unthinkable. That Joe Connell's young sister Kelly may have murdered her own brother and his new wife Olga. It's pretty shocking.
I think initially they were covering all their bases. You know, here's someone who had a feud with her brother at the end of his life and wasn't talking to him.
After Joe had taken $20,000 worth of diamonds off a ring given to Kelly by their parents and had them mounted on the ring he slipped on Olga's finger at the time of their wedding.
A number of us were looking into the family issue these three have really, because Olga's involved in it too.
But Kelly is not the only one showing up on detectives' radar.
As police began to investigate Joe and his wife Olga's murders, the spotlight would soon turn on Joe's business partner and best friend, Chris Rivers.
There's another group that's looking into who Joe's business partner was, where his business was, what type of business it was.
How long have you known Joe?
I've known him for probably about 10 years.
What do you guys mean?
Just being in the same business, mechanic business.
Detectives have not informed him that Joe is dead. And, oddly, Rivers doesn't even ask why he's being questioned about him.
He never asked, like, is everything okay with him?
No.
But they realize Rivers may have simply assumed Joe was in trouble with the law.
His response initially was, "What did he do now?"
Rivers is also behaving as if Joe really was still alive.
Anytime he wanted to tell me about something Joe was involved in, he made me promise him that I wouldn't tell him.
Promise me you won't repeat it to him.
Yes. Promise me you won't tell Joe what I'm getting ready to tell you.
And then, hardly sounding like a best friend, Rivers reveals that, like Joe's sister Kelly, he too had been locked in a nasty ongoing dispute with him.
I guess the last 6 or 8 months, I noticed he stopped working, stopped coming to work. He'd leave early. People start stopping by the shop. He buys a $100,000 car.
He tells detectives it came to an ugly showdown after he learned that bodybuilder Joe was not only using steroids, but also dealing them from their business premises.
The other guy that works for me comes up to me and goes, "Joe's selling drugs out of the back of the shop." And I was like, "What?" So I searched the shop, found him, and said to him, "Get him out. I don't want it here. I'm not losing the frickin' place over this."
And detectives would later learn the allegation was apparently true.
From what we can determine, he picks up this steroid addiction. And then he sees there's money in it, so he starts selling.
Sergeant Leonard says Rivers would go on to reveal other dark secrets about Joe, including the fact that he had served more than 7 years in prison for pointing a shotgun at a police officer during a bar brawl.
And now he has this opportunity to talk in detail about, Joe's criminal history, Joe's steroid sales, Joe's problems with his family.
And Detective Leonard asks Rivers about Joe's feud with Sister Kelly as part of their simultaneous investigation of her.
You know any more about this thing, this beef within his family, what that's all about?
I mean, just over the jewelry is really all I know about.
No details about it?
I mean, every day there's something dramatic going on with that family. Every day.
Are they like that?
Yeah. They're always arguing over money. They're always arguing over something. I mean, it's every day there's drama.
Still not telling him that Joe and Olga are dead, detectives ask Rivers about his whereabouts the night they were murdered.
The last you talked to him was what time? You said
11-ish.
Okay.
10:30, 11-ish maybe.
When Joe was out with Olga celebrating her 39th birthday.
I was supposed to go down there, and I ended up working at the shop till about 10:30, 11. And then I went home, got in the shower, and then by the time I was going to go down there, it wasn't even worth going down.
Rivers tells detectives he stayed in the rest of the night with his girlfriend, who would corroborate his alibi. And he would also turn out to have a clean record.
There was nothing that popped out on it in his background at its initial stages that would think, wow, well, this is the right guy.
Investigators even explore the possibility Rivers may have had a partner in crime.
He was looked at rather closely as well.
He was. Police spent a lot of time investigating him and looking into that.
Nor did Rivers seem like their killer when detectives finally told him that Joe and Olga had been murdered.
What was his reaction?
He was upset.
Both of them were killed.
At the same time Rivers is being questioned, detectives also continue to interview Joe's sister Kelly about the murders.
Was she cooperative?
Absolutely.
And with Rivers also cooperating, investigators still don't have any clear suspect or new leads.
There wasn't DNA, there wasn't surveillance, there were no eyewitnesses.
But then, a bizarre and stunning break in the case. Next, something Chris Rivers says in this interview with a local newsman finally leads detectives to the real killer of newlyweds Joe and Olga Connell.
I just didn't believe it. I still don't believe it.
How much money would you say he's getting out of the business as opposed to?
Not that much. Not enough to do that lifestyle. No way.